Privileges fixium.
Roasting the Wizarding Mushrooms, Episode 8. Here comes Nepo Moldboy, heir to generational villain subsidies, pure cat privilege, and the rare ability to be both dangerous and deeply unimpressive at the same time. The only mushroom whose primary magical talent is screaming at the ecosystem.
Do you know who my father is?
Nepo Moldboy grew up in a manor that looks like tax evasion grew legs, marble floors, cursed heirlooms, portraits of dead bigots glaring down in pure cat fonts. And behind the gleaming manor facade, the real family creed hums.
We do not die for causes. We bear however walks we are alive.
From day one, his identity template was installed for him. Cap, sharp little aristocrat cone, styled like a villain starter pack. Personality, preloaded with classism and insecurity. Mission, land a mold emo internship with benefits. No competence required, just vibes and entitlement. His bullying style is strictly risk-adjusted. He targets soft shrooms with no political backing, throws slurs like confetti, and then melts the moment a real adult with authority walks in. Every time he opens his mouth, you can hear his parents speaking through him like a bad ventriloquist act. Pure cap, superiority this, force purity that. But his eyes say,
Please tell me I'm enough without the family portfolio.
and his hands say,
I've never assembled my own lunch.
Nepo Moldboy is not stupid. It would be easier if he is. But no, he's smart enough to know he isn't exceptional, without the scaffolding of wealth and fear. So instead of building substance, he builds a brand. Sneering at poor mushrooms, performing cruelty for peer approval, treating decency like a contagion he must not catch. And in the background of all that posturing, the Moldboy family philosophy quietly runs in the back of his mind.
Loyalty is negotiable. Survival is not.
When Mold Imo returns, Nepo Moldboy finally gets what he thought he wanted, a personal assignment from evil middle management. Suddenly, he goes from hallway menace to please fix this damn cabinet and KO Dumblespore. And for the first time in his life, the homework isn't graded on a curve. Watching him cosplay a compost feaster is like watching a trust fund kid asked to lift something heavier than his own sense of entitlement. He shakes, he sobs, he stares into the abyss of his own limitations. And then, instead of stepping away from fascism, he just emotionally freezes and hopes the plot will resolve itself without requiring a spine. Nepo Moldboy is proof that not all villains are born from tragic backstories. Some are just raised in echo chambers, where cruelty is a family hobby and nobody ever says no with consequences. His whole moral framework is,
If they look like they're losing, how fast can we pretend we were never really with them? If my parents and rich friends approve, how bad can it be?
genocidal. The answer is genocidal. But under the sneer is a scared and overparented fungus whose entire personality is performance. He's been so busy being an heir to hatred, he never figured out who he is when no one's watching. Which is why, when the war stops being theoretical and starts costing bodies, he looks less like a predator and more like a cornered lab assistant in the wrong experiment. His emotional range, he's more like a cracked vial, narrow, volatile, and mostly used to store whatever poison his parents poured in. The comedy is that he genuinely believes he's competing with Harry Spotty. Harry is out here involuntarily hosting Mold Emo Soulcrumb and walking into death like it's an exam. Nepo Moldboy is in the bathroom hyperventilating because his Dark Lord internship turned out to include actual deliverables. He wants to be legendary, but settles for being a cautionary footnote. This is what happens when you raise a child on status anxiety and fascist bedtime stories. And yet, the plot does give him one mercy. He gets the chance to walk away. He doesn't become a martyr, a hero, or a symbol. He becomes something much smaller and messier, a next threat, living in the long shadow of what he almost did and what he failed to do. The roast isn't that he was born into darkness. The roast is about the part nobody likes to put on merch. Nepo Moldboy isn't tragic enough to be romanticized, not competent enough to be respected, and not repentant enough to be fully redeemed. He's stuck in the middle, where real people usually are, with his roots twitching toward whichever side looked less doomed.
Privileges fixium.
Roasting the Wizarding Mushrooms, next episode, L3. And if you don't want YouTube to bury it under cooking tutorials and crypto scams, press like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell so you actually see it when it drops.